Hi Year 6, welcome to Wonderful Wednesday. So I have received lots and lots of lovely work from you over the last couple of days, and I really liked the fact that you have taken on my instructions and that you have used my examples to help you as well, which has been fantastic. So keep it up, keep it going. So today we are going to complete a comprehension activity about a shark attack. We are also going to do a bit of grammar, and you are going to continue your article and have some really good fun in our lesson today. I really hope you enjoy it. I've tried to make it not so full on, so hopefully you have time to focus on creating some really good writing. Okay, but first we're going to start off with our quote. You never realize how strong you are until being strong is the only choice you have. So if you think about the time we're living in now, a lot of people have had to be very strong. Not only our NHS staff, but all of the key workers, and you guys for having to stay at home, not being able to go out and do the things that you normally do. So well done to all of you for staying home and staying safe. Hopefully we will be back soon, and we will be in a situation where we can all be in class again together and enjoying our last few weeks of Grange Primary and of the summer term. So until then, stay strong. Okay, and remember, you are strong, you are brave, and you are doing an amazing job staying at home. Okay, we're going to start with our to-do list first, or our what we need list. So we need today an exercise book or lined paper, a pen, a pencil, a ruler, your comprehension sheet, which I've attached to the email today, a newspaper plan which you created on Monday, your newspaper word map which I sent you yesterday, and your enthusiasm. Okay, so today is Wednesday the 13th of May 2020, and our LI is to be able to understand the language of the text. So I'm not going to sit and read this whole text to you. I want you to look at it on the PowerPoint if you need to. I have also sent a printout of this I've left it on the website, I've sent it on your email, and it is on Purple Mash as well for you to use. So there's lots and lots of different ways you can access this text. Okay, so pause here, have a read, look at your paper copy, look at the copy on another screen, whatever you want to do, but make sure you read this text before you move on. Okay, so we're going to go through these questions. Now, these questions, there are 8 of them. Again, they need to be answered in full sentences, and they are all taken from the text. All the information is available on there. I don't think you'll find it too difficult, but take your time and have a read. Read it very carefully, and make sure you send your work to me at year6@grange.harrow.sch.uk. Okay, so let's go through the questions. Number 1, who had given him the board? So his brother was the one that had given him the board, okay, or the surfboard. 3 figures of speech are used in the first paragraph of the story. Copy them into your books and write what they are called. So the first one is as high as the colourful kites, which is a simile. The second one is the sun staring, which is personification. Remember, the sun does not stare, a person stares, but you are making the sun into a human, giving it human characteristics. Sleek silver shark is alliteration. You have the repetition of the S. Number 3. What does the surfer mean when he says king of the ocean? He meant he was feeling good and was a good surfer, so he felt that he ruled the ocean. He was in control. Okay, so make sure you've got that in your answer somewhere, the fact that he felt he was in control of the sea, of the ocean. Number 4. What is meant when it says Jason was riding a large roller? It means he was riding a wave. Okay. What did the boy think he had been hit by? He thought he'd been hit by driftwood. Number 6. He sounded urgent. I flashed a look, a fin, moving at speed, towards me. These are not all proper sentences with subjects and verbs. Why has the author punctuated it like this? What effect does it have on the reader? So these are very short sentences and they create tension. So remember when we were looking at narrative and we talked about short, sharp sentences to create excitement in the story and to create a mood or an atmosphere in there. Okay, so that's why the author has written it in very short sentences. Number 7, what did he become aware of? How did he become aware of his injuries? He couldn't balance, he crouched and he fell off the board, and he saw blood coming out of where his calf should be. So that is a really good, vivid description of his injury. And number 8, why has the author used ellipses in this conversation the boy heard before he lost consciousness? So remember, ellipses is there to show a gap where words are missing, or pauses. So it's basically showing that he's slipping into unconsciousness, and he is not really taking on board what things have been being said. Okay, so it's slowly fading away. And punctuation can be used to do this. It's very, very effective. Okay, so please tick if you've got it right, correct it if you didn't get it right, and send me a picture or let me know how well you've got on. I got lots of children saying to me, Miss, I got full marks, or I didn't do so good, but here's where I went wrong, and I really appreciate that. So please continue to do that because I think it's brilliant practice. So pause here, just have a look through the answers and just check what you have done. Okay, so we're going to move on to our grammar lesson now. Like I said in my video yesterday, we are going to be doing grammar this week within our English lesson. So, number 1, we're looking at nouns today, okay? And we're looking at 4 different types of nouns. Today we're going to look at 2, and tomorrow we're going to look at another 2. So today we're going to look at common and proper. Now, I know a lot of you know this, but there are some of you who still get confused between what a common noun is and what a proper noun is because you don't use the capital letters in the correct places. So we need to just keep recapping, and then before you know it, you'll all be able to do it without any problems. A common noun is a noun which is not the name of any particular person, place, or thing. For example, dog, cup, or curtain. We can usually point at something with the name of a common noun. If we can see it, of course. A common noun does not usually begin with a capital letter, unless, of course, it is the first word in a sentence. So name the common nouns in these sentences. Be careful not to name any nouns that are not common nouns, and there will be lots of them. Okay, so I want you to have a go at this. Pause the video here and write the sentences out and underline where you think the common nouns are. And I will be back in shortly to go through the answers. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed that. Found it quite straightforward. So for the first sentence, on Sunday I enjoy a boiled egg with my breakfast. So there, egg and breakfast are the common nouns. Number 2, both Bill and Ben scored 2 goals each. So in that one, goals is the common noun. Number 3, Susie bought a lovely pink blouse at Primark. So you've got blouse there. Number 4, the seagulls at Island Wall often make a terrible racket. You've got seagulls and racket. Number 5, WJS is situated near the library in Oxford Street. So you've got library there. And number 6, cats, in my opinion, are more independent than dogs. So cats and dogs are both common nouns. Cats has a capital letter in this case because it is at the beginning of a sentence, not because it is a proper noun. So tick, cross, correct, whatever you need to do to go through your answers. Pause here and just make sure that you've kept up. If you need to, you can go back, rewind back, and just go back over the answers again if you need to. Okay, next one. A proper noun is a noun that names a particular person, place, or thing. For example, David, Edinburgh, Atlantic Ocean, or Wednesday. So something is a member of the group called One, and what do you think that group will be? One Direction. So I want you to fill in the gaps, please. Okay, think about what words would fit to go with these questions. Okay, and I want you to you can make them up if you want to, if you don't know the full answer, doesn't really matter. Please can you send them in to me at the school address, and I will check through to see if you got them all correct. So pause here and go through those answers. Okay, next one. I want you to identify the common and proper nouns and ignore any other nouns at the moment. Okay, so just common nouns, which are the things you can see, and proper nouns are the names. Okay, So I want you to go through here and just make a list as you're reading of the proper nouns and of the common nouns. So pause here and then we'll go through them shortly. Okay, so let's read. Pirate Pete was born in Dover. So there we have Pirate Pete, which is a name, and Dover. So both of those are proper nouns. He became a pirate. A pirate is a noun. When he was only a 13-year-old lad. A lad is a noun. He sailed on many ships. Again, ships. His most famous ship was called the Revenge. Revenge is a proper noun. He fought in many battles. Battles is a noun. He had many adventures. He loved the life. Unfortunately, he was not always lucky. Now, lucky and life are both nouns, but they're not things you can actually see. So those we'll be talking about them tomorrow. Okay? Pirate Pete is a proper noun. Had his left leg, so leg is a noun, blown off by a cannonball. Okay, cannonball is a noun. During a battle off the coast of Malta in the Mediterranean Sea. They're proper nouns there. So he was sometimes called Peg-Leg Pete, again proper noun. Pete, proper noun, had his right hand, which is a common noun, chopped off during a sword fight. Sword is a noun. At a pub is a noun. Sailor's arms in Folkestone, both of those are proper nouns. Why is he? That is why he has a hook. A hook is a noun, a common noun. Of course, you'll be wondering why Pirate Pete, proper noun, wears an eye patch. Eye patch is a common noun. Over his left eye, again a common noun for his eye. Did he lose his eye in a sea battle or a sword fight? No, he did not. One day Pete, proper noun, got a terrible itch. Itch again is not a common noun because you can't see it, so we'll talk about that tomorrow. For a moment he forgot about his hook and tried to scratch the itch with his fingers. Fingers are common nouns. This was not a good idea. Okay, so hopefully you managed to get a lot of those correct and you have an idea of the difference between the two. Okay, so 4 different types of nouns. Again, we're looking at proper nouns. If used as a pronoun, needs a capital letter. So how are you feeling, Mum? Do you know where my shoes are, Dad? Gran, come over here. Direct name used, you would use a capital letter. So when you're talking about somebody in a story, a character, remember they always need a capital letter. Okay? When you are writing about a family member and the title is modified by our, your, my, his or her, then it doesn't take a capital letter. So how is your mum feeling? My mum is feeling down because of my aunt's drinking. Is his dad going fishing with your dad? My dad is going, but his dad isn't. They don't need capital letters. Okay? But when you're actually using mum or dad to take the name of a person, so it's their name, then you would use a capital M and a capital D. Okay? So I think if you pause here and just copy that down, not all of it, some examples and the middle explanation, I think that'll be really, really good for you just to remember the difference between capitals and not using capitals when talking about family members. Okay, we are now going to move on to our English lesson. So please can you write the date and the learning intention, which is to be able to write a newspaper article using the correct features. So this is our continuation lesson from yesterday, where we had already written our introductory paragraph. And today we're going to move on to our next one. And this time our paragraph is going to give more information about the event and how the story has developed further. And we need to include description and create a sense of excitement for our reader to make them want to continue reading our article. Okay. On the next slide, I'm going to go through an example of the second paragraph that I've written. And I would like you to stop here. And I want to make sure that you have your planning template ready in front of you. So that is the newspaper template you wrote your plan on, because we will need that when we're writing our next paragraph. So pause here, write the date, write the LI, and go and get what you need. Okay, so as you can see, there is the box that I have taken from my plan of paragraph 2, and I've included all of my points there, and I have tried to include them in my paragraph on the right hand side. So I'm going to read my paragraph to you, and you need to see if you can refer back to my list to check that I have included all of my information. The rally was attended by over 100 women, all dressed in the iconic colours of the suffragettes, white, green and purple. In fact, some shops have reported a huge increase in the amount of clothing being sold in those shades. As the government minister began his speech, his words were drowned out by the heckling crowd. The women jeered in contempt at him, and one woman in particular was roughly manhandled by a police officer who smothered her mouth to stifle her yells. As he led her away, there was a deafening roar from the crowd as suffragette leader Emmeline Pankhurst entered the stage. She whipped the women into such a frenzy that soon a violent riot broke out. The protesters brandished weapons and were seen to be running away from police officers who chased them down the street. Okay, so I've tried to create a sense of excitement there for you as a reader who would want to know more about what's happened in this violent riot. Okay, now I've tried to include all of my points in my paragraph, and I've put them in chronological order as well. So I've made sure that they all follow the way that the event happened. Okay, I've tried to include a range of vocabulary. I've tried my best to include different openers, although I have got some very similar openers. I've also tried to up-level my sentences by putting in really exciting vocabulary. So you need to use either the thesaurus or the word map that you have been given, and see what you can do. See if you can really bring that paragraph to life. I'm only asking you to write one paragraph today, so it's not actually a lot. I just want to see if you can take time to really break down your sentences and see how you can make them better. So pause the video here. You could use my work as an example. Have a read through it again. On the next slide, I'm giving you some further instruction. So if you want to, you can carry on watching the video and then you can go backwards and just keep this example on the screen when you're writing. So lastly, your task is now to use your plan, a copy of the chapter and my example to create your next paragraph. You need to make sure you're very clear on the order of how the events unfolded. Remember, it must be in chronological order and must only refer to the events outlined in the chapter. Make sure you're continuing to focus on your handwriting, punctuation and spelling, and that you're always trying to up-level your work. And I really want to see it, so please send it into our email address, year6@grange.harrow.sch.uk. We look forward to receiving your work, and I shall see you tomorrow.